thank you both for taking the time for this interview. I saw on LinkedIn recently, Natalia, you recorded a podcast, I think. So I feel like you're full promotion tour right now.
Yeah, a
So
little bit.
busy
Well,
schedule, I feel.
we appreciate you for being interested in helping get the word out there. Been working on the series for 3 years, so I want as many people to see it as I can,
Mm.
hopefully.
Yeah, it was great that you reached out and you came across us. Like, I'm very curious to even know and come to understand how you found us. You've actually been the first journalist to reach out to me,
Mm.
definitely internationally too. I was really happy to find that out. So, yeah, I just want to hear more how you found us, a bit more about you, and we can go right into questions.
Yeah, I don't even remember actually. I think on LinkedIn, no? You're
Yeah,
pretty active. Your LinkedIn page is pretty solid.
it
Nice.
is.
That's all Amy's job. So
Yeah,
Yeah. So all props
doing the
to
best
Amy.
that I can.
So yeah, I remember being completely blasted by House on the Outlands. I was like,
Mhm.
it's 2 minutes. There is a opening, ending, and there is like narrative. It's in 2 minutes they wrap up a full story. That's I was blown away.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did a little bit of writing. I didn't get to contribute as much to the visuals on House of the Outlands, but I also
Mm.
agree. I wish more people would know about House of the Outlands too. So
Mm.
yeah. Anyways, glad that you liked it.
Yeah, and to talk more about like that short format, I know.
Mm.
I think we're kind of known for the bite size. We used to call it, and very like we tried to
Mm.
cue the name micro short. We haven't been using that as of late anymore because our Sunny Side Down series, Natalia, right? It's like a minute and 20 seconds
No,
more
it's
than
yeah, it's like House of the Outlands technically, if you remove the intro and everything, it's only 1 minute long,
Yeah,
which is
sure.
crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, versus Sunnyside
Right. It's
Down,
even more crazy.
I know, and Sunnyside Down, we were like, okay, that was too short. We
Uh,
learned a bit from our mistakes. We still didn't want to go super long. The Sunnyside Down is like sometimes 2.5 minutes long. Yeah,
you're actually starting to tackle some question I have, some angles. So
we
I don't know
should
if I
let
can
you
like
ask.
I want to go deep down in this, but maybe I wanted to go more chronologically. Like for example, for starter, I wanted to ask you maybe starting by doing a quick introduction, like what's your background as a director and how did you discover and end up working with Make Originals?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this is being recorded, but I'll be like, "Hi, I'm Natalia Poteryakhin. I'm I'm 25. I'm about to turn 26. I'm born and raised in Minnesota all my life, but I'm the child of Russian immigrants and grew up watching a lot of Soviet Russian animation, and that really inspired me. So that kind of started my animation path, even though my parents really wanted me to be a software engineer. And and then just yeah, drew a lot in high school, started asking around more the Twin Cities area, which is like Minneapolis, St. Paul in Minnesota. Because obviously the stereotype is that the entire animation industry is in California and LA. But I found out that there was a surprising number of small local like advertising studios in the area, and Make is one of them, like focusing on commercials for like high end national brands. I don't know. It'll be like from snacks to games to toys to anything like that, but focusing on narrative driven, like animated work. And then they were using the money to make their own personal work, which came to become the Make Original series. Like it used to be more informal, where they would kind of one at a time be like, okay, we're going to make this short film, or we're going to make this like joke ad. And then in the last 3 years, we launched like Make Originals as like, okay, we're going
Mm.
to do shorts as a series. We're gonna like launch them as their own IP, like to build community, to hopefully get more funding, to make more of them, like make it kind of more legit, basically. And I happen to come in and get a job right as that was really kicking off. I had interned at Warner Brothers Animation for 2 summers and had like worked and gotten experience as a storyboard artist. And so that was just a skill set that was relevant for developing more of this narrative work. And just in my first week, Danny Roboshkin is our creative director, CEO, owner, runs the place. In my first week, he was like, I've always wanted to do like a sci-fi thing that's like 2D and a parody show. And he's like, I don't really know anything else beyond that. But if you think about that idea, like for a little bit, if you have any takes on it. And then I was like, okay, like I thought he was just throwing me a bone because I was the new person and young. And I felt very lucky because all the like senior directors who've been here like 15 years were like, they were also gonna pitch like their ideas. And we had like 2 days to put together like a little presentation. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be a little diner, but it's in the middle of a super massive black hole. And like everyone is stuck there. And we'll use like the black hole to drive the parody element of like, a different alien getting sucked in each episode. And kind of also highlighting like the absurdity of the situation, like rules and time don't act in the same way there. And everyone's trying to like kind of keep themselves less bored somehow being stuck in this diner with nothing to do. So kind of that was the base humor of it all.
Yeah. I love one of like a comment on the first episode that came out was that it's kind of a take on Nat, the lead character. It's like her last day at work. It's like her last shift. Someone like brought that in and we weren't even thinking of that too, which is so fun. Like the series to be like the entire series is her last day working at the Sunny Side Down or if potential first last day. We don't know technically, but I like that a lot. But yeah, I started working also the same time as Natalia and launched Make Originals. Basically, yeah, the sporadicness of seeing all this cool content as like a marketing person that was just laying around here and like nothing to do for it. Like getting into the production side and like why we decided to do this. It was specifically because releasing our own IP in this sort of format, not only does it make us look like, wow, like they can do such high level production. They have such like so much talent here. We can tell our own stories. It's the fact that, hope that us releasing these in this sort of package returns sort of client work back to us. So this is all self-funded. And we technically do make all of our, sorry, we'll mute that. Yeah, perfect. All of our commission does come from our commercials that we do. We are primarily a commercial-based studio. Yes.
That's what I was wondering. I feel like there is a lot of independent studio with the same model, like starting more like advertisement company. Like there is some projects that pay the bills, and then you can take on your more auteur projects with this money. And you're running these two side by side.
Exactly. Yeah. And that machine, that side by side, the push-pull balance is I think our biggest challenge internally too that we face as a studio, because if it were just us, I mean, we would be working on the Make Originals nonstop because it's the work that we get to do. And technically that is Natalia's main job too, but her role is growing into so much more. She does so much for the studio, and I mean, same, but yeah, that's kind of also the take of running a small studio in the Midwest. But I am curious too, like with indie animation and internationally, like, do you see sort of a difference of take like in Europe with indie animation, or just like, what are your thoughts on how hype it is right now?
I feel like in France, we still have, of course, talking just about France, France is really best known for getting a lot of grants. We have a lot of help from government. So of course, you can take this into account. There is always public fundings. That's a new line of fundings that can help you.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like we are big into crowdfunding too. I don't know if you heard about like the French studio Bobby Pills.
Oh
They
yeah.
they are currently doing crowdfunding for this queer long length movie called the Gym Queen. So yeah, they have I think one quarter of the funding of the whole length movie made by crowdfunding. Last year at ANSI I have interviewed Argentinian studio called Dos Veinte, and they have kind of the same model than you.
Oh, cool.
Starting as commercial, they were a motion design studio actually. But he told me motion design was more a thing into like 2010. And now motion design per se is not so much of a thing. Like motion design evolved into pure animation.
Yeah.
And now they are doing more and more author projects after doing 10 years of commercial. So yeah, it's kind of the same model, but evolving in this way.
Evolving, yes. It's definitely evolving. And that's, I think we were, I mean, I'd like to say we were on like the front side of when indie animation
No,
specifically
we
on,
weren't.
we
No, we weren't. Okay,
but
also
like
sorry.
as
The
a
front side.
series, as a series, I felt like we were as a series, but
Okay,
we
and
no, we weren't.
we should let him ask his questions.
Of course.
No,
Well, we have time, and I'm excited.
Yeah, that's organic. That's really cool. I like this. This is flowing. That's really great. To comparing, the one coming in mind immediately is Glitch Studio. We talk a lot about Glitch and the pilot of Guenièvre, which from I understood they self-funded by merchandising. They are trying. They are selling plush. They are selling posters.
I also have the other previous successful series where it's like I know some of the series generate like way excess kind of funding,
that's right.
and then they can funnel it
They have,
into
like,
the other ideas. Yeah.
cash flow to reinvest.
Yep.
And also in a Screen Rant interview, I saw you said that you worked 3 years on Sunnyside, and it's pretty surprising because for like I think 6 episodes per 2 minutes, it's pretty long time of production. But
Yes.
what I'm starting to understand is that you worked a bit on the side all along, through side by side with other projects, of course.
Exactly. I was always like on client projects. We did like, sorry, my boss is talking in the background. We like did detours like working on the Sign of Mez music video. Don't know if you saw that. Like that was really a cool project. I'm always writing scripts for client work. And we've also, again, had clients come back to us and say, hey, like we love the short series format and we're like in development with whatever their brand stories are. So I'll do a lot of that while also directing Sunny Side Down. And anytime we get like a 2D client project, it's like all pencils down, forget about Sunny Side Down for 2 months. We're only doing this. And then as soon as that project wraps, okay, it's a way to actually, it's a very unique model in that it helps us keep a full-time in-house staff, which I really appreciate because most commercial studios, they really rely on freelancers and they just hire everyone, right, for the one client project and then everyone's fired afterwards. And part of why the Make Original is great is that everyone keeps getting to develop their skills, keep making work, even when we have a dry period.
That's this kind of model seems really sane. I like this kind of thing of course it's the big challenge for animation studio, trying to have a constant flow of projects so you don't have to fire people and you can keep them all through the years. And also the thing you mentioned about growing up as a collective, as a studio. I saw, for example, and you can change the position according to the project. Like I saw on House on the Houston, you were on writing. Josh was the director, and then I saw on Sunnyside you're the director, and Josh is helping on animation.
Yes,
So
it was so funny because Josh is so goated amazing. It felt wrong to give him feedback on his animation because I'm used to thinking of him as my boss and like the dynamic flip. Yeah, I think it's also something unique to Make is people can grow into and step into whatever they want to learn or get better at. I feel like I'm both interested in the visual and the writing side, which I feel like is why being a storyboard artist really suits me. But yeah, like with House in the Outlands, I'm not really the strongest animator, actually, not to, reveal my secrets, but I felt like that's where I could help the most was with scripts, while my coworkers, Adam or Reina, like made beautiful animation. Yeah. And then on the flip side, Josh got to have his own take on a different visual style than he would normally work with me driving the art direction on Sunny Side Down. Trying to think what else to say about that. I would say even with Amy or any role in the studio, I feel like the way Danny runs the place is very much like you enter into like a blank void, and he's kind of like whatever attracts you, like like you start developing that skill, and then he'll use you for that more and more.
It's a blessing and a curse. It's like if he finds a new talent of yours, he's definitely going to be using that. Which
that's cool
is amazing.
that he lets you grow. It
Yes.
lets you develop your strong suits and keep on with it. Yeah, I was wondering about this kind of make original. The studio looks like a kind of also laboratory for young artists to help them grow. Like you said, on your own experience, it was like this, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And like I got to ask Josh for his opinion and his, help while I was directing, right? And learn how to do that. And I feel like I know way more about how to like support a team, how to give animators clear feedback, like all this stuff that, you learn the importance of naming your files correctly, all these things that beginner artists think are not so important, maybe.
I am also a production assistant on top of a journalist, so I know about naming, numbering.
Yes. Yeah. Once you have, yeah, exactly. Once you have like over 50 shots and thousands of frames, yeah, it gets crazy.
Different version A.1.2.B.
Oh, that's actually another thing that is specific to Sunny Side Down on why it took us like closer to 3 years, because we've actually only really been in production on the animatic and like animation for really about a year and a half. We spent close to a year and a half on just scripts in between other projects. And I think it was like a real big back and forth on like Danny was really all in on the parody element and wanted like us to see how many layers of references could be put in every shot. So that like meant like you just reminded me of that because I remember the pilot episode, the script got to version 29, and I remember being like, oh, I just want to be free.
The number is just terrifying, 29.
Yeah. For a 2-minute script.
Yeah, also, yes.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah.
Perfectionism.
And then when you go to animatic phase, it completely changes anyway. So that is one piece of advice I would have said in the past, is I would have been like, we should have pushed forward, get into animatic as soon as you can.
Yeah. We know this for next time. It is cool that how much of a learning process it is also on my end too. Like I know like you wanted we can get into, or if you have other questions, but the distribution of the shorts and like how we decided to do that, like why we picked YouTube, like why we're, you know what I mean?
Of course.
All that has been, I think, the biggest learning curve for me, because this isn't necessarily like a format I could have taken from someone else, like how short our pieces are, yet the expectation of wanting it to grow and wanting to get as many eyes possible that we can on this was basically the set level that my boss and like that we agreed on for the marketing of these series. So it was a lot. And I mean, it was starting from the ground up, but I'm still learning from all of it, and just the industry itself. It's very unique. It's very niche. It's very vertical, but it's fun. It's fun. I like that we ended up going our own way, because I think it definitely sets us apart from the pack, even though I don't know. We do still get a lot of comments saying like, "Why are they so short? Why are they so short?" But I mean, I don't know, Natalia. Like, do you think we'll ever cave? Like, if one of them performs really well, do you think Daniel will just be like, "I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever make long
to
form
go
content."
long form?
Yeah, I don't. I really don't know, because that's a big question that people will ask us over and over and over again.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I feel like Amy didn't actually get into any of the specifics on why we went with YouTube or anything like that, but
well, I didn't want to take too much time, but yeah, we could go.
Because it's an interesting, like, we're kind of in the middle of, they're really short, so normally you would expect that to go for vertical format, right? Like kind of more TikTok or YouTube shorts rather than posting them as like the full YouTube video. I feel like part of it is that we just kind of lean towards cinematic or traditional staging. With Sunny Side Down, like so much of it is basically a sitcom where, you know, you're having at least like 3 characters in one shot, and positioning them in vertical is such a nightmare. Like actually getting to have people like live in a scene, you know, horizontal lends itself to that. So I think that's part of why we ended up treating it more like a long form YouTube video, even though it's shorter. And I think also the idea was to show the potential of the world growing into a longer piece. I think Danny, I mean, we always do talk about like we would love to go ahead and make a 15-minute pilot if we receive the funding. But the idea is, instead of putting all our eggs in one basket on, we're going to make the 15-minute episode and like only get to tell one story one way, we're going to do 6 little mini stories that could speak to different people in different ways. And like you said, it's more of an incubator and experimental thing. And we also think being able to tell the series style storytelling shows the world has more dimensions to it than, again, if you just did the one 15-minute story. But would I love to do something like Knights of Guinevere, like Glitch did? Obviously.
Yeah, of course. I was wondering if it was just a financial aspect, because through the years you have been progressively extending the length. Like I scrolled down your YouTube channel, and at the beginning it started with like 18-second skits built around just one joke, and it progressively expanded to this 2 minutes episode with full narrative. So I was wondering if it's going to expand exponentially.
Yeah, I still wanted that myself. That's mainly too why I teed up that.
If we had Danny on the call, that would be interesting to hear his thoughts. The way he's always talked about it is he loves running a commercial studio because he just gets bored doing the same thing for a long time. Like even for us, you know, like again, I've been thinking of the world of Sunny Side Down for 3 years. You start to get that itch of like, oh, well, you want to explore other projects and other ideas. If we had made each episode 4 minutes, I would still have maybe another year or 2 of production ahead of me. So I think we would be willing to do long form only if, again, we have that funding to like bring on a larger team and still get it done in a shorter amount of time. Otherwise, with the team we have, it would just, the timelines would get longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, could you imagine working on 1,000 episodes of One Piece? All your life?
No, like, or even people who work in feature animation, right? Like they dedicate 5, maybe 6 years of their life to the visual development or animating a film. I personally would not like that. Like part of why I like working at Make is every month I'm thrown on something totally new, completely different style. Maybe it's anime. Maybe it's something that's very like realistic. Maybe it's something that's very motion graphics simple. Like the storytelling is very different. You know, horror, action, comedy. I find that really fun.
About choosing your format, actually. There is some different factors. Also, we didn't talk about, for example, attention economy. Like, did you feel like internet is saturated? So like people don't have time anymore for another 20 minutes format. Like 2 minutes is also a good way to just take a little slot in the in the journey of in the day of the people.
Yeah, like people could fit it into their bathroom break.
That was definitely a point Danny likes to talk about all the time. He's like, you could watch Sunny Side Down when you go to the bathroom.
I think I would say when we started this maybe 3 years ago, yes. I think I've been happy to see that I feel like society's going almost the opposite direction. I feel like the projects that have gotten the most traction are actually the long form things, and people want to like sit with something and like live in that world. And I think we're trying to figure out how we can also lean into that. Like part of it is we're trying to share as much behind the scenes as possible. Can we do like short comics to support developing the world and showing more of it? Like, yeah, I think it's a tricky balance. In the end, because again, we're a commercial studio, our strength is in making something really high quality that's shorter. Like we realized, okay, most of the people, they can't, let's say, produce animation at this quality. So there's the people that release just like 20-minute storyboarded animatics. But like, since we have access to a studio, to people who know how to paint a background, do great character designs, great compositing, all of it, like we were like, okay, let's play to our strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely evolving from 3 years ago. It has evolved so much. I mean, now it's to the point, I think, where you can watch all the episodes separately with Sunny Side Down, but there has been talk with more going into a direction where the episodes feed into each other a little bit more. And there is more of a story arc rather than, yes, like 3 years ago, you're watching Dead Moon Walking and it's just death. I definitely know that that's more of a push going forward.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think, the trend, like the path that we're going down currently to kind of be the best of both worlds with what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this kind of, again, literally a sitcom. Like every episode is really fun, the joke, like every episode is a standalone one, but there is a bit of character development, and you still have a reward as an audience for watching the whole 6 or 10 episodes. That's difficult equilibrium, but if you achieve it, it's pretty good.
I appreciate that. I really hope that people hold on for the last 2 episodes, especially because I feel like on each episode I got to put, like you said, a little bit more character development. And like, my hope was like, okay, I know after just watching one episode that people will basically know almost nothing about Nat and Yaba and the crew. But my hope was like after putting all 6 together, that people will have a takeaway. So.
Are you teasing us a big payoff on the 6th episode? Okay, I'm waiting for it.
Gotta see it. Plug make originals.
Yeah, actually, recently you published this whole page with all the visual development, expanding a bit on the production side of how is it made, and it really made me want to know more about the world, because, for example, I didn't yet felt really this kind of relationship between Nat and her mentor, as you say, on the side. But yeah, I like this kind of relation. I want to see more about this mentor-mentoree relationship.
I agree. I think, I'm like, how do I say this correctly? I feel like when I started this, okay, like I was straight out of college, right? I was 22. I was like, guys, I think people really want to know about the main characters. Like the jokes are good and all, but like, I think that might be really important. And at the time, there was a bit more pushback within the studio because a lot of the content that had performed well before was, again, the more one-off silly gags. And people really felt the selling point was going to be the humor. And so, again, a lot of the scripts were written in that direction. And not to be a little bit gratified and I told you so, but as the episodes are coming out, I appreciate hearing the comments and fans saying, actually, I really wish we got more time with, their relationship, the characters, And I can only hope that people would maybe give us the chance to, explore the world more. Like a lot of the core motivations, like trying to show that Nat really wants to escape this place, is something that I could sort of put in when she's saying, like, the first episode that she wants to quit. But it's all kind of hints because you only get like 2 lines of dialogue per episode, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, so the character development is going really slowly, but you have to be here to follow
Yes.
all of
Yes.
it.
You have to watch it all.
Yeah. Maybe once the whole series comes out, I've been begging our boss, I would love to release like a little prequel that's like, how did Nat end up at the
that would be
Sunny
so
Side
cool.
Down? Because I have the whole story in my head, but I don't
Cool.
want to tell people, I guess, until releasing it. So
Yeah, that's a little sweet reward at the end.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
By the way, about French animation, recently 2 years ago, I think we had a gigantic pop culture hit. It was called Samuel.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard
about
about it.
I've heard of it. I watched Samuel.
Yeah? You liked it? It's
I
like
did.
4 minutes format
Yep.
and super effective, and you can publish it on social networks too. So perfect formula too.
Yes, I thought it was so funny also to be like, they did a micro series too, but I think the difference obviously is Samuel is really leading with the heart, the like human emotion.
It's also
we
the
are much
nostalgic
more silly.
Yeah.
It's
We're a
of
lot
course a
more
nostalgic
silly.
vibe. It's kind of obvious, but when we see Sunnyside and House on the Blonde also, we directly think about like Adult Swim or Cartoon Network shows. I can totally see this vibe. I can totally see the show be featured on this kind of channels. I was wondering if it's, of course, big of inspiration of yours.
For sure. I mean, part of it again was almost setting ourselves the challenge of like, can we make like network level, like adult comedy animation? And I was even like, can we make it look like even a little better? Because I enjoyed getting to put more maybe like cinematic compositing on it. Like the way I describe it is always like, oh, we did like an adult comedy look, but with anime lighting. So kind of like it's like it got a anime more like color feel, even if the drawn style is very Western. So that's kind of part of what I like with the visuals. Story wise, yeah. I mean, obviously I feel like the Rick and Morty comparisons totally make sense. But the story inspiration especially was really actually more like Spaceballs, the movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I haven't even seen it. I've only seen clips.
Okay. Well, in Spaceballs, there's a diner that like has a bunch of different aliens in it. And like there's just something funny about like putting the whole blend together and seeing what comes out. I was also inspired by like, you know how there's so many reboots of all these giant franchises right now? Like, okay, like Star Wars gets endless movies and TV shows. Star Trek gets endless movies and TV shows. Like all these classic 90s properties are like living forever.
Thank you, Disney.
So I was hoping to kind of a little ironically or sarcastically like lean into that and sort of making fun of that. I don't know if that's coming through for people, but I hope.
What I see, this is obvious, is that until now, at least for those first 2 episodes, is that each episode is focused on a specific franchise. So the first one is Star Trek. I think the second one is an obvious The Thing from Carpenter.
Oh, the third one, yes. The second one is The Matrix.
The second one is The Matrix. I forgot, yeah. So Matrix, The Thing. So will you keep on with this thing of like, is there a movie driving each episode built around
We're about to come out. Episode 4 is technically our Star Wars episode.
Okay.
We have like kind of a shitty dirtbag Jedi who uses his force powers to cheat at Jenga. Do you know the game Jenga?
Yeah, of course. Perfect. I want to see it.
It's a very serious deal. It's in the diner. Jenga is a serious sport. We'll have sports announcers and everything. So I'm excited for that episode.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
This episode has my favorite character in it too.
Is it Fanga?
Yeah, of course. It's like the ugliest, like beautiful, most ugliest character. I love the design on that character.
We designed an alien who has really, really long fingers. And he's just perfect at playing Jenga, obviously. So, and then the next episode is going to be Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that was more of like a nerdy pick from me because I grew up with the book and I love the book. I'm really excited. We have a really stupid computer from the 90s, but he thinks he's really smart. So that'll be the focus. And we have, of course, the mice. But yeah, anyways, that's all I'll say on that one. And then the last one is going to be a Terminator parody.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This one is promising too.
Yeah, and I did want to touch on too, because like you kind of didn't get it wrong. Like the episodes, we did take out the numbers this time. Like they're not in order. We didn't want to do an order this time around.
Okay.
Because we're kind of seeing the level of, do they really just promote that first episode like through the roof, or if we remove the numbers, if we kind of make it less of like you can watch them at any time, is that working more promotional wise? And actually, yes, I think it is. I would actually say it is. Technically episode 3 performed very, very well. And
yeah, but basically we were worried that people wouldn't treat them as their own independent short if we put the number on it. So, but we understand that might be a bit more confusing.
Yes, we do understand.
Yeah, to enhance the sitcom aspect we were talking about, like you can pick anything, the one you liked.
Exactly. It's working well for us.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Even if you said, Natalia, that there is some ongoing character development, but even with this aspect, you can take any episode and you have the whole puzzle at the end, and it doesn't matter. If you start with Terminator and you end up with Matrix.
I think so. The hope is that obviously if you're interested that you'll go back and watch the previous ones. The development is again very slight. I wish I could have done more. I did what I could in the time given.
She did the best she could. I mean, that's why writing was as long as it was because Natalia was really fighting. She was doing the best that she could. I think it turned out great.
Maybe 2 little questions to wrap things up. Yeah. Like you mentioned, sports announcer, actually. That's pretty unusual. Sports announcer.
Oh, yeah.
like for example, the character has a T-shirt with Nike on, something like that, like a brand.
Oh, no, I should clarify. Okay. Have you seen the Star Wars prequels?
So prequel is 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
No, yeah.
So it's like when they have the pod racing. There's like there's like the 2-headed announcer guys, and they're like commentating the whole match.
Okay.
We
Inside
have
the
that,
story,
but for Jenga, for the
you have the guy doing the comment.
Yes,
the commenting. Okay, the speaker. Okay. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and everyone's watching it like it's a football match. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's maybe misleading from France. I think announcer is more like branding. It's like sponsoring the guy who pays, and in France, I think.
No. Nope. That is sorry.
Okay.
Not that crazy.
Because it's pretty unusual in animation. I don't think I have even ever seen this.
No, I mean, if Adidas wants to sponsor us, but
exactly.
No.
Yeah, our series isn't large enough to. I mean, amazing, and we do work a lot with toys. So maybe one day, like we could in the long distance, if we use Jenga again, I think Spin actually does own them. That would have been a good.
We had to change the name just in case. So.
We did have to change the name. It's like we're not actually saying Jenga for sure, but down the line, I mean, great. Yes, we would love to do some promo type paid media inside of our features. Gosh, that'd be wonderful. I haven't seen that with the animation. Yeah, you're right. I have not.
I don't think so. But that could work. Like the guys actually playing the Jenga games.
It could, cool. But like I feel like the world is so annoyed with ads at the same time. So it's like if they're wanting to watch something, they're not. Like they'll always call it out to like in
to escape from reality.
Yeah, in movies, I feel like I always see brands now more than ever like pulling themselves. Like I just watched a movie the other day, and I saw or like a show the other day, and Liquid Death was like it's there. You know what I mean? They always have like their best. They always do the best moments. It's super. Anyways, but one day maybe
it could backlash on you. That
exactly
audience could be pissed off. Like again.
Exactly.
And to finish on the expanding, like, are you thinking about targeting non-English speaking audiences, for example, by dubbing your own production and content?
Yes, we are currently collaborating with a lot of different dubbing, like collaboratives or studios. Like, I think it's like Portuguese, Spanish, Russian, Korean. Like I've been really excited actually to get the dubs in there so more people can watch in their own language. I think French, hopefully. Sorry, I don't know if I can guarantee, but we're still like reaching out to as many people who are interested.
Yeah, I think French, and I think the most funny kind of gag one was Australian. Which is not.
I don't think we're actually doing Australian.
No, I know, but I thought that was just so funny.
It.
We joked about doing that. Yeah.
Australian dubbing would be wild. Just
the accent.
Just the accent. Just nar. Just as like the joke.
But then what? You're doing an Irish one, a Scottish one, also?
Oh, we'd have to. No. There was. I don't know what comment it was that Danny, like our boss, commented and was like, because an Australia, like from Australia here, it'd be so funny if you could get this dub for in Australian. And he's like, good idea. We'll try. And I think he like commented something like that. We were it's just lived on. The joke of that. I don't know.
It's on the table. It could
exactly. It's on the table.
It could be a thing one day.
We are in process of dubbing. I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully as many as we can.
Yeah. I mean, basically the thought is, again, we're going to continue releasing one episode of Sunny Side Down every month. That's kind of our guarantee until March. We're going to put out at the end a combined pilot of all of them together. And I think we're even open to maybe animating like a little bit of additional shots to see how well we can kind of glue it into one cohesive piece. And that would be the thing that I would really love for people to like share around and promote. We'll submit it to festivals. I'm sure we'll,
as a short movie, it could go on festivals.
Yeah, we're doing not the festival route this year. It's planned for next year. We'll be submitting everywhere we possibly can. Hopefully, we'll hopefully be going to Annecy then too.
Well, they wouldn't accept us, but hopefully we would go.
Is what I'm saying.
They wouldn't accept, you think?
Oh no, I'm joking. Well, I just mean to say it's like the Oscars for animation, So
don't jinx us. Don't jinx us.
And you're not planning on doing it for House on the Outlands too?
Well, that's where we actually ran into trouble with House on the Outlands of like the episodes were so separate that you couldn't really glue them together into one thing. And I think we considered that a little better this time, hopefully.
We still submitted House on the Outlands to quite a few. I wasn't on that submission track for House on the Outlands. My coworker was, but I think they did the best that they can. I think it won a couple. I can't even name off the top of my head what it won, unfortunately, but locally we did well. I could say that. But I'm very, very hopeful that next year, we're very prepped and ready to go with Sunny Side Down. And I think just this time overall, we've been doing the most with promotion. I hope, like, we've been open to talking to anyone, been trying to have Natalia tell her story and really sell us, because she's great also at just talking and getting to know people and telling our story. But yeah, I think it's been going well. Overall, it's been very nice. And I'm very, very happy that you reached out over LinkedIn and that we got connected. And yeah, I hope your platform is doing well. Like, I'm happy to support you as well.
All right. Well, hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you for the time. See you.
Yes, have a good night.
Pensez à vous abonner à la chaîne YouTube pour ne manquer aucune des prochaines vidéos. À très bientôt sur Cartoon Fantasy.